Hello and welcome to Hope into Action News. Since March 2020, when the whole country experienced lockdown due to the new coronavirus, the reverberations have been felt across all sectors of life, from our personal lives and interactions with friends and family to businesses, social organisations and retail. Today, we have a special report looking at how one organisation, Hope into Action, has responded to the crisis. In February 2020, Hope into Action had 76 homes open and running. Plans were well underway for the highlight of the year with the 2020 conference, which includes everyone's favourite element, the Tenant Awards. And boom, lockdown. Everything stopped. Like the rest of the country, Hope into Action closed their offices and staff worked from home. With so much of our work being in person and face-to-face, we radically had to change our operations and procedures. Putting the safety of our tenants and staff first, we adapted. Staying in touch via phone calls, WhatsApp, and socially distanced walks. We asked our tenants to complete house inspections via video calls, a complete turnaround in dynamics as tenants were now showing us around their homes. Many found this shift in roles affirming and empowering. Aware that the poor and vulnerable tend to be overrepresented in any public health crisis, Hope into Action increased prayer for tenants, praying every day for them. Alongside this commitment, a new regional prayer initiative was started, with locations from the network all over the country meeting together online to pray. This has been a significant gain in bringing the network together for emotional, spiritual and professional support, an initiative which continues to this day. Disappointment came for many when inevitably the 2020 conference had to be cancelled, but all was not lost. With indomitable spirit, the Tenant Awards were saved. Moving them online meant stories of love, friendship, support and success were beamed and celebrated in hundreds of homes. Hope into Action continued to seek new ways of connecting and instigated monthly online meetings with the church friendship and support volunteers, with topics ranging from shame to mental health and well-being to boundaries and trauma-informed care. Meetings which have been so well supported that a whole programme is already planned and continuing in 2021 with new topics covering domestic abuse, county lines and suicide prevention. In late March last year, Hope into Action launched an appeal which received a very strong response. Coupled that with the Christmas match-funded appeal has meant Hope into Action have ended this financial year with a surplus rather than the deficit that might have been feared. Throughout this difficult year, all staff have been professional, adaptive and caring. While some have contracted the virus, our actual sickness levels have been lower than the previous year. At a time when many organisations have been concerned over their future and staff remain fearful of their job security, Hope into Action have not only retained staff, but have actively recruited 8 new employees. We have a full-time IT manager, a PA and systems administrator for churches and tenants, a maintenance administrator, and 5 new empowerment workers across the Lyme Managed City locations. At the start of the pandemic, Hope into Action felt they should be speaking into it, taking time to discuss and pray what the messages should be. In the end, they decided it should be the same as before, but just more loudly and more confident. A call to arms campaign was launched, advocating on behalf of the homeless, arguing that with night shelters no longer safe, now was the time for churches to step up and give the homeless a home. We were joined by people like John Kurt, who works for the Rough Sleepers Unit in central government, and the Bishop of Kensington, who was the Vice Chair of the Archbishop's Housing Commission. over 200 people attended the Call to Arms Zoom meetings. Most excitingly, this has led to new franchisees. Corby and Dover have signed franchisee agreements. Rochester, Bristol and Newark have been offered and are waiting to sign. Behind them come Leicester, Beverley, Canterbury, Blackburn and Ilfracombe. They're all considering franchises. Additionally, it has led to interest from many churches in towns we are currently working with. The fruits from that call to arms will be seen for many years to come. The number of pledges we have had from investors has suddenly grown. We now have a spreadsheet of investors with over £2 million pledged. This completely changes our dynamic and offering to churches, because before we were saying, if you want to partner with us, we will work with you to raise the investment. And now we are able to say, if you want to partner with us, we can probably buy the first house. We are more agile and flexible as an organisation as a result. Last March, all housing purchases stalled. Viewings were not permitted. And yet, since the initial few months, things have moved much faster. In the past 12 months, Hope into Action have opened 14 homes. Our capacity for tenants is now over 260, every one of them in partnership with a church. Hope is not locked down. Thank you for watching Hope into Action TV, your first choice channel for good news.